Hello everyone, I am G284 and I am on another rant again. I am wanting to talk about Gears Reloaded and how apparently it's not selling too well, which quite frankly is expected. 18-year-old game, and although they did say they've done some things to it, it's negligible. In campaign mode, it's negligible. For the fact that you can get it on Game Pass on the Xbox, I think is really good. I don't know if there's much difference between this version and the Xbox One Ultimate version, but I did notice a difference from it and the first game for the 360. There was a big difference. Lots of things were much brighter, things were more colourful, less blue. In certain, the nighttime was less blue in certain places. So the good points of the game, it feels easier. The first time I played it was on Insane. I did play it with a friend, so that does make it easier because you can go down in that game and get picked up. Whereas if you're playing it on your own, you're just straight dead every time. That would have been... Hello, little one. I know, you're doing it again, aren't you? Thank you. So that would have been... Thank you. That would have been much harder if it was just me on my own. I like that it's on Game Pass. I like that it's free and, well, for Game Pass users. And I like that it shows that they're still wanting to do something with this franchise. Xbox has a bunch of franchises that they seem to not... They don't seem to know what they're doing with their franchise. They seem to be doing this thing where they put a little bit of effort into the game or a development of a game, like say Perfect Dark or something like that, and then just scrap it. Now, are they thinking this because it's an Xbox original thing? It's probably just going to go to a day one release on Game Pass, and so that'll really hit its sales. So do you think it's going to do a noticeable change to the Game Pass uploads or purchases? If that's how they're measuring it, then Game Pass has really hampered the production of games. So I'm glad they've pushed through with this one. And I think it was necessary because the Xbox have shown that they want to push their games to other consoles. And I don't know, maybe it's a legal standpoint or something like that, because every time they buy a company, they seem to be getting sued about monopolizing the market. Okay, well, we're not Xbox, we are not monopolizing it if we're showing you that we're wanting to sell you those games too. Like, you're not missing out on the game, unlike other consoles like Nintendo. They know that they have to hold on to their IPs, otherwise they're doomed. So, which, you know, Nintendo's a huge company and they won't go out of business, but I'm just saying if they did, that's what would kill them. So I get that they want to tart up the first game in the franchise to lead up to the rest. I hope this leads to a redo of 2 and 3. Not Judgment. I don't care about Judgment. I wouldn't need just a tidy up of Judgment. I would need a rewrite of Judgment and really change the control system. That's what the story in Judgment's okay. No, the story in Judgment's pretty good. The story in Judgment's pretty good. However, I don't like the way the controls are in Judgment. I don't like how the story just doesn't progress. You have to go into a highlighted area and press a button in order to finish the mission. It just looks cheap. Also, there's no good horde mode. They did this weird mode in Judgment. I think it was called like Horde 0.5 or something like that. But it wasn't good. I didn't like it. And that was a real step down from Gears 3 Horde mode, and also was much worse than Gears 4 Horde mode. So if they're going to update it and do that, I personally, like, this is separate from Gears Reloaded. I think they should release Horde mode on its own and just have that as a gacha game that you can pay to upgrade your character. You can pay for certain cards, classes, and just keep updating that. Because I would bet my bottom dollar that Gears Horde mode is getting more people on it. Gears 5 Horde mode is getting more people on it than Gears Versus mode at this point. Anyhow, so let's go into this article here. Despite ending the console wars, Gears of War Reloaded apparently isn't selling well on PlayStation. As first spotted by WCCF Tech via Reese Elliott from Alinea Analytics, as a whole, Gears of War Reloaded has reportedly crossed over 1.3 million players. However, many of those are not coming directly from PlayStation. Rather, Elliott notes that approximately 259,000 copies have been sold on Sony's console, with the bulk of downloads, nearly 80%, coming from the Xbox side. It's doubly worth noting that Reload is on Game Pass, making its actual full price sale a lot low altogether. Yeah, I would say much, much, much lower. Compared to the smash hit that was Forza Horizon 5, it's arguably a pretty weak opening for one of Xbox's crown jewels. Crown jewel exclusives. It's a remaster of an 18-year-old game. It's the second remaster of an 18-year-old game where you've added nothing to it. Nothing. Elliott further notes that the game's complex multiplayer system, coupled with some dated mechanics, might have hurt the brand as a whole for newcomers. Cucumbers? That dated mechanics, I will want to talk about that once this is over. It's certainly worth wondering if they would have been a stronger debut had all three Gears of War games come to PlayStation in one complete package versus just the first game, even at the modest $39.99 price tag. I think it should have been cheaper. If multiplayer isn't your speed, bag baby, according to How Long to Beat, that's an interesting name, you're looking at roughly 7-hour campaign experience for just 1/3 of the total story. No, it was the total story of the game at the time. You're bitching and moaning that you're having to pay full price for a movie ticket because you're only seeing 1/20th odd of a James Bond franchise. Come on. In a sea of multiple releases, the value just might not be there for gamers. Yeah, that is absolutely right, especially when we've got Game Pass, but I'll go on about that later as well. It'll be fascinating to see how Microsoft's strategy evolves, whether this impacts the future potential of Gears on the console. And that piece was written by, before I forget, Johnny Flores Jr. for The Gamer. My arm was killing me. It's a 20-odd-year-old game. A lot of Sony fans that I know who don't have Xboxes have negative thoughts about the Gears of War franchise. They just were never won over by it. So that's an aspect. You do have a lot of tribalism in the console wars or the gaming industry. There is a lot of people that have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox, whether it be an Xbox One, S or X, and PC. If it's on Game Pass, and I think it's on Game Pass on PC as well, if it's on Game Pass, and any of those that person owns, as well as their PlayStation, why would they want to buy it on a PlayStation? They wouldn't. They would just go into their Xbox with the Game Pass already on it and get it there. So you've lost the sale there as well. You were never going to get them. This is purely to get, and they knew this, purely to get the PlayStation only fans. OnlyFans. Easy now. But this was to get the PlayStation fans only. So the sales were never going to be that high from actual Gears fans. It was never going to be high. You might have the odd Xbox Gears fan that doesn't have Game Pass that will want this to add to their collection. But that's tough. That's tough. Here's the Gears of War games in the Xbox Marketplace. You can buy the first Gears of War, not Ultimate Edition, for $8.99, and it's already on Game Pass. Let's have a look at this. So you can play it on the S and X as well. Right. Okay, so we're assuming that we can play all of these on the S and X because we've checked that for Gears. So Gears Reloaded is £39 plus whatever it is, the plus, I don't know what the plus was, maybe add-ons, for that game with a couple of extra missions that you can get in that game, which is already on Game Pass. That's a tough sell. That's a tough sell, especially if you've already got Gears of War 1, especially if you've already got Gears of War Ultimate Edition for the extra missions. Gears of War 2, $8.99. That seems to be the bare minimum for their cheapo games. Right, Gears of War 5, that was given for free on Games with Gold, and it's on Game Pass, and they're still selling it for $29.99. $14.99 for Gears of War 4. My point is that you can get all of the games on Game Pass. And also, you've upgraded Reloaded. Okay. What's the next? Gears E-Day. They've done really well at making them look like JD. But yeah, it's going to be Gears E-Day. Now, you would expect E-Day to be PlayStation as well. I would say it's got to. Because you're not going to get any sales on GameStation for it. Yeah, it's going to be Gears E-Day. This is something I'm looking forward to. Once they've done E-Day, I would expect them to start working on Gears 6. And once 6 is, once they're comfortable and they're almost done with 6 or whatever, start thinking about redoing 2 and 3 and Judgment. So then you've got, and then release 6. Or release 6, then do 2, 3. So they do have the next 3 or 4 games done. But if they're only doing what they did in Reloaded for 2 and 3, I would be very disappointed. I would love to have the Horde modes in 2 and 3, because Gears 1 never had a Horde mode. I would love to have Gears 2 and 3's Horde mode updated or tweaked, because 2's Horde mode was solid, but really fun. And Gears 3's Horde mode was really fun as well, especially when you got to put your arcade modifiers on it, and it just went crazy. That was good fun too. Doing that sort of thing is very important for the new games that they make, if they make them. Going back to Gears Reloaded, I enjoyed it. I'm not surprised that it's not selling well. I was a little disappointed that it was still quite unpolished. No, that's not true. It was polished, definitely polished, but you could tell it was an old game. The movement was sluggish. The grenade throwing felt very strange. You had to look so far up to blind throw a grenade. Compared to Gears 5, it handled up very differently from Gears 5. It's like they didn't do anything to the movement, to the I tried to dodge out the way, and instead of dodging out of the way, which would have normally happened in Gears 5, it stuck me to a wall, which does happen in Gears 5, but this was like, wow, it should never have stuck me that close, but it did. And that is stuff that they could have ironed out, but they didn't. So it is what it is. I enjoyed playing it again with my friend. I played it on Insane, surprisingly easy on Insane. And I will play it. It's one of these ones that I will play again. But knowing that I can buy the original Gears of War for $8.99, download it and play it, and not have to do the extra missions like in Reloaded and Ultimate, I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with how it looks. I'm fine with that. Because the extra missions on Gears Reloaded I didn't like. Anyhow, that was my rant about Gears of War, Gears Reloaded War, Gears of War Reloaded. $39.99 or free on Game Pass, or you buy a PlayStation and buy it that way. Would I buy it? No. Get it on Game Pass. Would I play it? If you've got it, yeah. Especially if you haven't played 2 or 3, definitely play this. And then play 2 and 3. Right, anyhow, that's it. I've been G-Truth84, and I will see you in a bit.